I'm at Borderfest 2025, and Econoline Crush just got done their sound check. I'm talking with lead singer Trevor Hurst. How's it going?
It's going good. It's hot out, hey? Muggy.
Well, yeah, but there's a nice breeze.
Yeah,
it's okay.
gonna be. It's a perfect day for a show. I love this weather.
You must love Sarnia. You were just here 2 years ago at the Imperial.
Yeah, was that with Finger 11? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And an indoor show that's a small venue. This is huge. It's gonna be awesome. It's kind of like in a little valley, and I've never really listened to a sound check where there's no crowd.
So how does it sound?
Well, you could hear some of the drums bouncing off of
buildings,
the food trucks and stuff like that, because there's a hill at the back too.
Yeah.
Have you played with the bands that are
on the
joining
tour
you today?
Yeah. Met Kim Mitchell. I don't think we ever played a show with Kim, but I met him a few times. Played lots of shows with Ian and Big Wreck and Thornley. The Fray, I don't think I've ever met those guys, but that was, they were in the States probably.
Your soundcheck song, Sparkle and Shine.
Yeah.
I was telling Aaron, I think that came out, you wrote that when Shannon Hoon passed away, right?
Yeah, it was really wild. I was in East Vancouver, and I was working on this, and I was stuck, right? Like I just couldn't come up with the lyric. And that article, I think it was either in Spin or Rolling Stone, where he had come out of rehab and he got on the bus and basically just wasn't ready,
Yeah.
And they sent him out on tour and he ended up dying. And so I always thought just make this monkey go out there and do his thing and not really care about him as a human being. So Sparkle and Shine came out of that article.
Yeah, I remember hearing that because that song came out. I was in college, so we were dancing that song in clubs and stuff. Yeah. But you never really putting the meaning behind it. So when I did hear that, I was like, wow. And then you listen to the song, but it resonates with so many, Chris Cornell and Chester, and that song can really hit you over and over again. It doesn't matter. I know.
I think about it every time something like that happens, and some musician ends up taking their own life, and you're just like, oh no, not another one, and it's hard. But I understand the frustration. I understand the extreme depression. It can be overwhelming, and you can get really overtired. And I think that's the danger, is if nobody's watching out for these guys, they're lacking sleep, they're making some bad judgment calls, and they just needed somebody to intervene, and nobody was there.
And so did you know that before, or is this because you have a whole other profession now on the side, right?
I don't think I knew a lot of it before I went back to school, but yeah. So I went back to school and got my Bachelor of Science in Psychiatric Nursing, and I learned a lot. It was hard to get my brain working and go back to school, but once I did, there's a lot of lessons there, and I think it's music is really a healing tool, and I think it's an amazing thing. But those of us that make it sometimes pay the ultimate price of depression, or it's just tough sometimes, because you have to balance that need for acceptance and your codependence on the audience with self-worth, and sometimes your self-worth goes down the toilet when your codependence is winning and you're not getting the results that you want from, you put out a single and it doesn't chart. You're like, oh my God.
And sometimes people don't understand how it really works behind the scenes either.
Yeah.
With things like that, they just automatically think if you're playing big shows like this, you're a rock star, you're rich, and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's true. And, we're just like anybody else, and we have a lot of the same problems and the same issues and bills to pay and everything else. But it is such a great thing to be able to play music, and it's such a great thing for us in this point in our career. We get to talk to the fans, and people come up and say, I was going through a breakup, and Devil You Know came out, and I listened to it, and it got me through, man. And that means so much to me in a way, because it's like, it means... Well,
that's your personal stuff on that album, for sure.
Yeah, and it transcends, it's like music transcending life, it's coming and being integral in their life, and that's kind of cool.
Well, and you think about the music that did that for you when you were younger.
Exactly.
So what was some of that music?
I mean, I was a huge U2 fan and In Excess when I was a kid. I loved The Cult and Killing Joke. And I was so big into Killing Joke, and I finally became friends with this guy, Paul Raven, who played bass for Killing Joke. And I couldn't believe it. Sometimes I'd be standing in a bar, with him. We'd go see a show. I'd be like, holy shit, I'm standing with Paul Raven. It's so cool. Yeah, and I got to meet lots of great people through the music business. Yeah, it's been a tremendous ride.
And then you had a huge hiatus. You went back to school, and you're working for First Nations community, right?
This is crazy. So I'm the mental wellness coordinator for Sioux Valley Dakota Nation. and we're playing there tomorrow night for Indigenous Days.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if I'll have a job on Monday because I know what to say. They'll be like, look at that guy, he's on drugs. No. But yeah, no, it's exciting to be able to go. And I'm very grateful to do that show because some of my clients and stuff, they're marginalized, there's housing issues, and they don't get to go to rock shows. And so to bring them our show and hopefully they enjoy it, it'll be great. It'll be so much fun.
Oh, they'll love it because it's you and you've helped them, and it will be more personal for them to go and see you on stage. And what a difference those two jobs are, but at the same time making people happy and better.
And there's a lot of similarities, oddly. Like, you have to be creative in mental wellness. Like, you do. You have to think, okay, how am I going to reach this person? You have to find things that they like, try and connect, and then bring them in. And music is the same thing. Like, you're up there and you're playing, and you want to get this audience, so you're working this side, come on. And then you finally get them, you're like, yeah. So it's very similar that way. And then I also love the fact that there's a lot, like I said earlier, there's a lot of mental wellness issues within the music industry, and I've seen a lot of it, so I can recognize it in my clients, and I'm like able to see, okay, this is a pattern I've seen before. So that earlier side of my career did inform my psych nursing now, definitely.
This psych nursing gig, has it affected or helped or made your writing process different?
Definitely made the writing process different. I think there's times, man, like you don't even know if you can write about it, like it's so kind of sad. But it's good because it does allow me, it's a place where I can take all that stuff and dump it and work with it. Mm-hmm. And so that's healthy, I think. But I really haven't been doing enough writing lately. That's something that we were talking about just recently. I said we got to get doing more of it because I need it. It's kind of part of my healing.
I hear there's a documentary being filmed, and that's about the whole band, and there's new music on the horizon. So there has been writing done.
Yes.
When was that writing done?
It was like a year ago, last February, March. I drove down to Las Vegas and worked with a guy named Kane Churko. Kane Churko, his dad's Kevin Churko and Corey Churko. They're a musical family from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, but they've been hugely successful in America producing bands. Kane's worked with lots of great bands. And so I convinced, we were one of the bands he used to listen to when he was delivering papers when he was a kid. So he was very eager to work with us. So we did 2 songs with them, New Gold Magic and Not Today. And they should be, I can't wait for people to hear them. They're really cool.
This is going to be an EP or an album?
Well, it's different now. It's interesting. Like, we did an album, and then when I was down there working with Kane, I said, so what do all the bands you do they do like a 14, 15 song album still? And he's like, I have a lot of bands that just do singles. And I go, what if we did like pieces? Like, you do a couple singles, then we come back to a couple more, and then see how these singles inform these singles, and how do we feel, and where the storyline is going, and the arc with this record. Instead of making it all at once, it's like the journey of making the record in a way, having shows in between. So who knows? I mean, I'm open to it. I think you have to evolve with the music industry, or you're going to end up, kind of getting left behind. So I like to do, evolve, try different things, see what happens.
You really would have felt that too when The Devil Drives, because you came out of your hiatus.
Yes.
So recording before that, it would have been a whole different ball game, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's so different now. But the recording process, like, in a lot of ways, it's still very similar, because we were one of the first bands to kind of embrace a lot of the sampling and digital stuff. And I find that, like, people usually get mad at us and say, well, you're not a musician, you're not a traditional rock band. It was like, no, I just have another tool in my toolbox to create dynamics. Having the loop in the verse and then having it change to something different with a really aggressive snare and really aggressive live drums in the chorus, it elevates the song. And so we've always worked that way. So when we go in the studio now and people are sampling things and moving things around and tuning things, we're like, it's old hat for us.
Yeah,
we've done it before. The new scary thing is AI. I don't know what to think of that. It's crazy.
Well, you might embrace it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next time I talk to you, we'll find out. And thank you so much for taking the time with me. We can't wait for the show tonight.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me.
Nice meeting you.
Take care.